Wait, can I ask you some OJ stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all done now. You said there's so much stuff that didn't come out. I mean, you probably talked about it 1 billion times.
Well, so much stuff that I saw in the documentary because don't forget, I was sequestered. I wasn't watching the trial.
So wait, do you remember what was the name of that restaurant? That was
Mezzaluna.
It was Mezzaluna. Now, I know you're a clean guy. You've never been a guy that did, but it was a drug haven.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that I was.
You know how I know that? Because as a young actor, that was like, there was a kid in my class and he's like, that's the place to wait tables. He waited there. And it was like killer money in the like 92.
Oh yeah, it was the place to be. You have to be. And
OJ would go and her, what's that chick? You know her name.
The actress there?
Well, it was Kris
Jenner?
It was Nicole.
Yeah.
And it was the other girl who's Faye, yeah. They were always there. I mean, that's what I saw from the documentary or the footage, but I know that my buddy would come to our acting class and say this.
I think I was there. I lived out there. I think I might have been there only once because it wasn't.
But was it a drug den, in your opinion?
See, I wasn't. So I proclaim this. I've never done drug in my life.
I believe that. No, I know that.
I just haven't. And so
you're a Midwest farm boy.
Yeah, and so I had my own set friend. I didn't hang out with those people. I had a guest house, but I still had my separate life. I did not hang out. Everything was based on who my friends were, and that was a older crowd. To me, that was an older crowd, so I didn't hang out with them. You know, and OJ, was doing Notre Dame games, NBC, football, acting, doing his bit. So, I wasn't a guy to go, hey, can I hang out? It wasn't my style. And that was it.
So what was some of the things that came out that would surprise us?
Well, if you watch the series, first of all, they found the night of the murders, the detectives came, they found in the wash machine clothes that were in the wash that had blood on the wash machine and blood on the light switches, blood upstairs on socks. All of it was thrown, never used. They had a woman named Jill Shively who's done our show.
It was never used?
Never. They were thinking that they had so much evidence, maybe they don't have to use it. So they had, and the blood of the socks had all 3 DNA on it. So we find this out during the documentary. Then there was
OJ, Ron, and
Nicole.
Okay.
And they had so much evidence in the Bronco that wasn't used, the blood in the Bronco. Then they had, so the reason being, then you watch the trial, is because they said it was tainted, and Dennis Fung was the LA for the DNA expert, and Barry Scheck for the defense just did his line of questioning and just had him fumbling. So the jury, reasonable doubt, they show that. Jill Shively, I think one of the most important people in this, was a woman driving her car that night. Exact same timeline, matched the timeline for myself, everything. She was driving on San Vicente, and a Bronco comes with no lights on, through a red light, almost hits her, and the car goes on a medium. And she sees it, and she memorizes the license plate, and she hears the guy say, "Hey, get out of the way!" And she said that night she watched Naked Gun, she knew that voice was O.J. Simpson. So she called. She thought it was a drunk driver. So it's all on police record that she said exactly at that time it was him driving the car, probably back from Bundy.
Meaning after the crime.
From Bundy, right? Probably right after, and then the OJ gets there, and so she calls it in as a drunk driver, all on record. Skip Junis, this is great stuff. Skip Junis is at the airport, and is picking up his wife to work for American Airlines. He's there all the time. It was Sunday, no crowd. He's in his car behind the limo, and he recognizes, it's O.J. Simpson. By the way, these people are very credible witnesses, and the detectives have proved it.
How do they know it's OJ in a limo?
He came out of the limo. He's
right
behind. He goes, it's OJ. And he sees him. Now, no one knows there's a crime committed, but he sees him with this duffel bag that I testified to. I said, I never saw that bag. No one ever found the bag. But he sees him go into this bag, with his arm all the way down, and he pulls out this object, and he puts it in the garbage can with his arm all. Who throws out something down here in the garbage can? Never used as a witness. This guy was so credible.
What was it the knife?
Well, no one.
Did they ever find the?
Never found it.
They never found the knife.
Well, no, because
What?
Forget, garbage is picked up probably that morning. No one knows anything yet.
And there's no cameras at LAX?
No, that 94, no cameras, 94, 95.
So your theory is that OJ reached down.
He came in to meet the prosecution, but they never used him. He said that. He goes, I saw him there. He put something in a garbage can. And so it was so many hours after the fact, maybe a day or two, maybe 3. So the garbage is already picked up. And they were not going to go to whatever dumpster, how they collect garbage at LAX. So these are just theories.
Wait, when did they know about that? Why wouldn't they go to a dumpster?
I don't think that news event came out until like 24 hours later.
Oh, so it was already.
So it was Sunday, maybe as a Monday pickup garbage. I don't know. So that was one of them. Oh God, they highlight everything that was never used. So those are just 3 of the things. That's amazing.
It's insane.
It is insane.
But I mean, your opinion is.
My opinion is I think he's guilty.
He did it.
Yeah.
And it was an act of what?
Probably passion.
So he didn't know. I mean, it seems like he had girlfriends, right? That's kind of seemed like he had a ton of side pieces, right?
My opinion.
And they were divorced, correct?
Divorced. I just think.
And Ron was her like little side piece, right?
That we don't know if they were dating. According to
we don't know.
Kim Goldman, who's terrific. That's her brother.
Yeah.
Ron, that they were not dating, and he was just being kind because the mom left her glasses at Mezzaluna, and he says, "Oh, I just wait. I know where they live."
Oh
so
no!
He dropped him off. It was all wrong place, wrong time.
That's what happened. That's right. No.
So, and it was just all these events of.
But OJ came back. So Ron goes and delivers the glasses.
Yeah.
Because he's a sweet guy. I do remember reading that. Yeah, and his sister Kim, I've met her before. She's so sweet.
Yeah.
I've done a benefit for them. And go there. He goes. OJ gets jealous. Where does the knife come from?
Well, nobody knows if that was planned because supposedly that night he wasn't invited to Mezzaluna with the family. I think it was a fact that she was over him. He probably was like, I'll show her I pay for the house. I pay for, alimony. Maybe he was fed up and maybe it was an act of passion. No one will ever know. But I think Ron showed up maybe during and tried to save and possibly then he ended up killing both. I mean, on the Netflix show, they go through their theory and it's plausible, everything they say, but no one will ever know.
Why do you think that he was convicted, not guilty, not convicted?
I think the Rodney King was 2 years before that. I really think the jury was going to have him being innocent. I was there and I saw the jury I did 6 days on the stand. I saw them wave to him all the time, but they would wave and the jury.
No one did not know who he was. Meaning
he was a celebrity on trial, and I just think the time of LA was
he was a fixture.
Yeah, there's another thing you didn't know was that they test the jury of the lawyers of how the likability rate, and the jury did not like Marsha Clark, but she said no, it won't matter. I got so much evidence, but you got to be likable to, the jury might go, oh, I like this prosecutor.
Wow,
so, there's a lot, Jamie, on this thing.
No, it's crazy. Do you know there's a lot of theories? There's theories that he didn't do it, that he was taking the fall, but you don't believe any of that.
No, nothing.
There's also I believe that 2 drug dealers did it.
They did. They try to plant that, like they talk about the, she's almost decapitated.
I know,
Nicole.
It was horrific.
They said it was the Colombians doing their Colombian necktie.
Colombian necktie, yeah.
So that was, I think they're throwing to see what would stick on the, spaghetti on the wall, what'll stick. But no, I think it was the most investigated in the history of any murder case. And every detective kind of says the same. That was just OJ.
And when he got off, were you beyond surprised?
No, I kind of thought when I was sitting there, I said, boy, they like OJ. And I knew it was a heated time and I could see the racial divide and they showed all that stuff. It was pretty obvious at that time.
And when he got off, did you ask him if you could live in his new guest house?
No, that's not it. At one time, he probably wanted to live at my guest house.
Fuck.
No. I said, I can afford my own couch. Laugh, dude. But
But your relationship was done once he got off.
After
But he was cool with you before, right?
Completely
cool. Did he take you out to eat and stuff?
I probably saw him 5 to 6 times the entire time.
And how did you get there? How did you end up going to this guest house?
I was friends with Nicole. I lived at her place on Gretna Green, not Bundy. Gretna Green had a guest house.
That was in Bel Air.
You probably knew a buddy of mine had a business together, Grant Kramer. Grant was a heartthrob on General Hospital, did a few beach films, but he was a great-looking guy, intelligent, funny. Women loved Grant.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, a side note, her mom was Terry Hughes, was married, I think, to Howard Hughes. So Grant and I were buddies.
Okay.
And he's hung out. We started a casting business for extras in films.
That doesn't sound weird.
Yeah, it does.
Go ahead.
He had an acting class, but we
had
casting for extras.
And you used to have something called Kato's Couch Potatoes. Just saying.
It all.
Go ahead.
You do anything in this time. You have to make money.
I know.
You got to keep your insurance going.
I got it. So you started a casting business.
Casting extras, and I was usually the wrangler. So we did a lot of I would hire 100 people.
Yeah.
And they would be everybody was a price on the head of the production company. So
no, I know you're if there's a big scene in a mall. He hired all the people to be in the background, and that's good money, by the way.
And then I would be on that show, and hours could be 4 a.m. I'd come home and just long hours, and we did really well. And so Grant and I said, we did great. Let's go to Aspen for Christmas, where everybody went the day after Christmas to spend the New Year's.
Yeah.
And then in Aspen, we had an absolute ball. Nicole was divorced at the time. I don't know her, nothing. I don't know who the person is, but Grant, and she's locking eyes with Grant because Grant did a lot of the celebrity ski, and they said, "You're Grant," and then they start talking. So I was the third wheel making the jokes, and she loved my humor. And while they dated for a while, even after Aspen, I was living in Hermosa Beach. I'd drive up to the office to do all this stuff, and if you know, it took me an hour to 2 hours of driving. So it'd be 4 hours just on the road for my work. And I was close enough to Nicole who said, "Who lives in your guest house? I'll rent it." And I met her kids a few times, and they said, "Kato, we love Kato." They named the dog Kato. So it was sort of because they liked me. And I think the key was, Jamie, that I was trustworthy around kids. And if you can be trustworthy, you're not looking for anything nefarious to do. You're kind of like, I'm not the babysitter, but I loved the kids and had fun. So I stayed at her place for 6.5 months before she moved to Bundy because her rent went up.
So Grant was dating her
for a while, and
she said, "You need a room?" To you?
No. So while Grant and her were dating, I still went out with them as a
third fucking wheel.
Yeah, come over. I was living in Hermosa, but now I was good enough friends for Nicole where I could ask. And so now when I lived in Gretna Green, he'd come over and I'd see all three. It was Grant and her and me, and it was a great time.
Hopefully, she brought a friend.
No, I was okay. I was doing okay. I met.
I know you did.
My time, I met someone in Aspen too, and at that time, it was a very popular actress, and we dated for about 3 or 4 months. And her name is Catherine Oxenberg, who was from Dynasty.
You didn't want to say it, but you just did. You dated Oxy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Back in the 90s.
By the way.
She's a princess of a country, I think.
Yeah, wow, that's a good, she's looking great now, but boy, 35 years ago.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yep.
So and this is pre-trial fame. This is just off the hairline.
You know what? That's so funny you said
wow.
that. I was all pre-trial.
You and Grant took down a couple of divorcees.
I had some game.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely do, for sure.
And it's
so wait. You go there. You're living there, and that's how you ended up at OJ's.
Yeah.
And then
OJ, she moved to Bundy.
Did you eat with him? Can you tell me something that you guys talked about, or is that no?
Yeah. Well,
you would go out to a restaurant.
I rarely did. If I was with the family, if I did, we used to go to the soup plantation. OJ, the kids, and that was in Brentwood. Everybody would go to everybody to be seen.
I love that one.
Remember the soup plantation?
Yes.
Everybody would go to the soup plantation.
That's so funny.
And the kids would just they'd go and get a plate and a cup full of sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
They would just pour. It was like a comedy of like, how much sugar in your coffee? It's like they'd pour us. I just remember that and laughing.
You, OJ, and the kids
and
at
Nicole.
soup plantation. Oh, Nicole. Okay.